Hello and welcome to the final module in our Python series. In today's session, we're going to be focusing on fancier printing and web scraping. When we talk about fancier printing, we're talking about having more control over the printing, which will therefore give us more control over the outputs. And we're going to talk about formatted string literals in terms of fancier printing. They are also called F strings for short. And then we have the string format method. So I'm going to go straight to the shell now. And what we've been doing so far is something like this. Right, so we have a string literal there and then it's printed out. Or we have a variable storing the string. And then we print that out. Or we have maybe a number stored in a variable and then we use the str method x plus 200. Right, so this is what we've been doing. But take for example, we have a variable with the value 2020. We have another variable COVID-19 pandemic. Now we could use F string, so F, and then we could say the major event of the year was the, we could put in your major event, right? And there we have it. So we have year being replaced by the contents of year and COVID-19 pandemic being replaced by the contents of major event. So when we say more control, what do we mean? We could change the year and the major event and then have it printed out without having to use a print statement again, right? Take another example. Say we have total employees equal to 300, total male equal to 200, and then we could have percentage male equal to 200 divided by 300. Okay, and then we could use F strings here. The total number of employees is total M, total male employees is total male with their percentage being percent male, right? And there we have it. Now, of course, if we don't want such a big number, we could change this to round of 200 divided by 300, comma 0. Right, and then of course do the same thing and you'll get that. Right, so it's rounded it off. Okay, so this is how you can use F strings. Now moving on to string format method. But before we do that, remember we use the method str. This is we've done here. We could also use a method called repr and that would give us the same result. So I could say repr of x plus 200 and that would give us 400 as a string. Okay, now coming to the string format method, we could have something like this: print we are, and set up curly braces of the another set, and we'll keep on fighting to another set of curly braces, and then close quotes dot format, and we can put in string literals here: the champions, comma, world, comma, the end. And you will see now that these braces will take the values of these strings in the order as they are placed here. So we are the champions of the world, and we keep on fighting to the end. Similarly, we could do something like this: print I like, and then let's put a 0 here and 1. Okay, and of course there have to be quotes because it's a print statement, so let me just put that in. And after this we can say dot format, and we have pizza, comma, pie. Okay, and you see there are like pizza and pie. Now you could change this to 1 and 0 instead of 0 and 1 to change the order in which it is printed. Okay, so this is another way you can use the string format method. Lastly, we could have something like this: print this dessert. Let's put dessert into curly braces. Is, and let's put an adjective here to describe the dessert. Dot format dessert equal to tiramisu, comma, adjective equal to divine. This tiramisu is divine. So of course you could change the values of these variables. Right, now let's move on to web scraping. What exactly is web scraping? Web scraping is nothing but the process of extracting data from a website. So it allows us to get different types of data that we can use for different purposes. What are the purposes? Market research, and looking to build a better product, getting information on clients or customers, predictions in the stock market, etc. How do we scrape the web with Python? We simply use Beautiful Soup, right? Though of course what we are doing today is we'll be using Selenium as well, and Chrome driver. What they are, we'll come to shortly. Okay, so how do we know if a particular website allows for scraping? Very simply, you can just type in the name of the site, just like that, /robots.txt, because scraping is basically used by bots, right, to collect information rather than humans. And you will see as you go down this list, there are certain pages that are allowed, and then there are certain sub-sites that are allowed, I should say, and then there are many that are not allowed. Okay. So coming to the steps involved for today's small project, we will install Selenium, install Beautiful Soup, install Python requests, and then Chrome driver. Okay, to install Selenium, we have to go to the command prompt. Run as administrator. And then of course we need to go to the users folder and your username. Okay, now you can use pip3. We've been using Python-m so far. Today we're going to use pip3, and this is specific to Python. So we say pip3 install Selenium. Okay. And you will see it tells me that my requirement is already satisfied. You should get a message saying successfully installed. Right? Once Selenium is installed, we need to install Beautiful Soup. So pip3 install, sorry, there should be no space there. Install Beautiful Soup 4. What does Beautiful Soup do? It allows us to extract HTML or hypertext markup language. Remember, that's the language used to create web pages, and then make sense of that or convert it into readable text. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So install Beautiful Soup, and again you will see I already have it installed, and therefore I'm getting that message. Right, and finally pip3 install requests, and again you will see that that requirement has been satisfied for my computer. On yours you should see successfully installed. Right, once that is installed, now we can go ahead and use them. But a word about what we're going to use now. So first of all, I'm going to take you to the Chrome driver downloads website. And to get this, all you need to do is in your browser, just type in Chrome driver download. Okay, then you click on that link and this is what you see. And of course it tells you, depending on the version, you need to download that particular driver. How do you check your version? Just click on these three dots, right? Then click on settings, and within settings click on about Chrome, and you will see here the version, and accordingly you will download the relevant Chrome driver. Now when you download it, it will appear in your downloads folder, right? And right, you will see it here in a zip format. If you open this, you will see the exe file there. Now what you need to do is copy that. So just right click and copy it. And I would suggest you copy it into your directory which has Python. So for this machine that I'm working on, I go to the C drive and I go to Python 39. And this is where I have copied it. So you can do the same. Okay, once that is done, the next thing I want to tell you about is Selenium. Now, what is Selenium? Selenium allows for automation of browsers. Okay, that's the exact definition. It's used for testing whether web applications work the way they are expected to. But because a lot of websites render their web pages using JavaScript, Selenium becomes part of web scraping. Right? So, Chrome driver, if you go to Chrome driver get started or getting started this particular page, you will see here that it states that Chrome driver is used by Selenium WebDriver to control Chrome. Right? So it's WebDriver, or rather Chrome driver, which will implement WebDriver. Remember that WebDriver coming from Selenium, right, is a generic software. It's a generic web framework, you can see, that allows you to control different browsers. And Chrome driver, of course, is required to control Chrome. Remember that I spoke about how we need to check whether a website allows scraping. Right? So you need to be careful here because all websites do not allow scraping. If you scrape from a website that does not allow scraping, you're most likely to get into legal trouble. So you need to be careful. So we are going to be scraping from TripAdvisor, which does allow scraping, right? And we are going to be scraping this information. And then we'll provide it to Google Text-to-Speech, so it will be spoken out. Right, rather than you having to read it. But how do you get to this particular place on the page? For that, you move your mouse or you place a cursor over this, right click, click inspect. Okay, and the moment you click on this sign, you will see the text. Right? So now you will see that there are certain identifiers that we can use, and that's what we're going to do. What are those identifiers? So for example, we have here span. So we're going to be looking for span, which has the class full text, and that's how we get access to this text. I'm going to be using idle today. Let's type in idle. And new file. Let's just start with our function. So here we have, I'm just going to call it scraper text. And here we'll say from Selenium import WebDriver. And from BS4, remember Beautiful Soup allows for that whole chunk of HTML that comes in to be put in a nice readable format. Okay, so import Beautiful Soup. We can then extract from HTML what we need. And from GTTS import GTTS and import play sound. We also need OS, and now we'll have our driver variable equal to WebDriver.Chrome. So now Selenium's WebDriver will control Chrome. That's how it will work. Then we have our URL equal to, and the URL we need is this one, right? So I'm going to just copy that and paste it in here. Just expand this so that we can see everything, right? So once that URL is in place, we can say driver.get URL. Then using Beautiful Soup, so soup equal to Beautiful Soup driver.pageSource using the pageSource property, comma. Once we specified pageSource, we also need to specify the parser. So html.parser. Okay. Once we've done that, then we call the quit method of driver, since we got what we need. And then for line in soup.findAll using the findAll method. And remember, we are looking for span, comma. We need to provide a dictionary with the key, which is a class, right? And its value, as we saw there on screen, is full text. Okay, so we'll put that in. So full text, right? Then colon after that, so for. And what do we want to do with each line? So text equal to line.text. Then we have a variable equal to gtts of text. Then we need to save it in an MP3 file. Right? And now we can use play sound to play that text. Right? Play sound or play sound. Put in the file name. Then remember, after we play this, we need to remove the file. So os.remove, and we specify the name of the file. Right? And that's all. Right, so let's see how this runs now. We need to save this, of course. So I'm going to go to C drive, users folder, right, and then user name. And I'm going to save it in our new folder and just call it text. Okay. Now we can run this. scrpr underscore text. So this is the page it's getting the data from, right?
Hampstead Heath is a large open green space in the north of London, with woods, greens, lakes you can swim in, and hillsides with views. It is a surprisingly green space not far from the heart of the city. I feel the Heath hides a little piece of London's soul. You are never far from houses and buildings, but you can feel a sense of the wilderness that was here before the metropolis. A truly wonderful place to roam.
Well, that's it. Right, so this actually ends our series. The next series I will be doing will be the C series, but that's going to be started after about 3 weeks maybe. So hope to see you then. Take care, stay safe. Bye.